unauthorized transactions. Wala tayong masyadong audience dito physically, pero ito yung ang interesado dito, yung mga on the concert going segment of our population. Naka-online po yung mga yan na nanonood sa atin. So mga high-tech na mga tao ito. This measure aims to protect consumers or the concert goers from exploitation and guarantee fair access to events of their favorite artists and performers. Then, the third subject matter, we will now tackle Senate Bill number 2791 for the Digital Nomads Visa Act, filed by Senator Marcos, which seeks to create a new visa category for digital nomads. So, yung mga CHR, if you want to stay and listen to or even contribute to this other subject matters, you are welcome po. So this bill defines digital nomads as individuals who work remotely using digital technologies while traveling to different countries. This legislation recognizes the transformative nature of remote work in a digital age, positioning the Philippines as a competitive and welcoming destination for global talent while fostering economic growth. And then, of course, just a general appeal or notice to all our resource persons that you are welcome to submit position papers should you so desire. And the request is, let's make it siguro within 7 days from today, para we can act on immediately on the subject matters. Okay, so once again, maraming salamat po, and siguro if Senator Robin has an opening statement, you have the floor, sir.
A'udhu billahi minasyaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pagbati po ng kapayapaan, una po sa aming pong professor, Senator Pimentel, sa amin pong tinuturing na teacher namin dito sa Senado, at sa inyo pong lahat na aming panauhin. Ako po ay masasabi ko pong sabik na sabik sa pagdinig na ito, sapagkat ang aking pong panukala patungkol po sa charter ng Commission on Human Rights, sa palagay ko po ay panapapanahon na atin pong pag-usapan, dahil matagal na po. Masasabi po natin na medyo 1987 po ba? Tama po ba ako? Ang inyong charter. Ngayon po 2025 na. Kung atin pong bibilangin ng taon, medyo mahaba-haba na po. Marami na pong mga naganap. Hindi lang po sa ating bayan, kundi sa buong mundo. So, ibig pong sabihin, nagbabago din pamantayan. Kung ano yung mga level sa pinag-uusapan po natin ang human rights. Ang human rights po ay masasabi natin kapatid po yan ng God-given right. So, napakahalaga po nito. Kung babalikan po natin ang ating kasaysayan, laging lalo na po sa bunang politika natin ngayon, kung naririnig na po natin ng mga ganitong nangyayari sa Pilipinas, na ganito, may ganitong nangyari, may PJK, may ganito. So, nasaan ang human rights ng mga panahon na ito? At nung mga nangyari po sa Davao din, nung mga nakaraan na masasabi natin na mayroong mga karapatan na nasadlak. So, nasaan ang human rights? So, ang tinatanong po natin, ito ba ang dahilan para bigyan natin sila ng karagdagang kapangyarihan para sa panahon na ito ay makasabay ang human rights? Kasi po sa mga panahon dati, nung bata pa ako, at siguro naman ang iba dito ay parang anak ko na o ate ko na o kaedad ko, naramdaman natin talaga na may kapangyarihan ng human rights. Pero itong mga nagdaan na panahon, lagi natin tinatanong, nasan sila? So, hinihingi ko po sa inyo na itong aking pong panukala ay mabigyan sila ng panibagong umpisa na makatahak ng bagong landas upang sila po'y makasabay. Alam nyo, hindi lang po dito sa Pilipinas ang usapin ng human rights, pati yung sa EU sumasabog ang issue ng human rights, international criminal court. Lahat po yan yan po ang issue sa buong mundo, human rights. So siguro, panahon na po talaga, mahal naming chairman, amin pong professor, na atin pong tignan at pag-aralan kung ano po itong mga nasa panukala na ito. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Padilla. Okay, so unahin na po natin yung CHR Charter. At sinabi nga ni Senator Padilla, 1987. Kasi ang legal basis yata ninyo na after the Constitution would be, was it an EO? Is it an ES? It was an EO. Yes, an EO, no? So, okay, so yun yata yun. So nasituate na natin. Sige, so I'll ask the committee secretary, Attorney Mortel to make of record the presence of resource persons for all the three subject matters. Thank you.
Mapagpalang hapon po sa ating lahat. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Senator Robin. Good afternoon. For the Commission on Human Rights, we have the Honorable Chairperson Richard P. Palpalatok, sir. From the DBM, we have Attorney Trisha M. Baraan and Ms. Joy Rico. From the GSIS, we have Attorney Lucio L.U. Jr. with Vice President for Operations Group, Rodrigo Manuel, and with them is also Attorney Giovanni Lynn Marin. For the Anti-Ticket Scalping Act, we have from the Department of Trade and Industry, Attorney Marimel Dancel Porcuncula, Assistant Director for the Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau, FTEB. With her is Attorney Mariel Aviles, Senior Trade Industry Development Specialist. And likewise, they have Ms. Danielle Nicole Segovian from the Consumer Protection and Advocacy Bureau. From the National Bureau of Investigation, we have Attorney Abram Geronaga, Executive Officer of the Fraud and Financial Crimes Division. From the SM Lifestyle Entertainment Inc., they are represented by Attorney Ronhel Vin Papa. From TicketNet, we have the General Manager, Ms. Karen Nicasio Santa Ana. And with her is Legal Counsel Attorney Raymond Romano. Likewise, Mr. Chairman, we have from the Live Nation Philippines, the Managing Director, Ms. Riza Pascua. Afternoon, ma'am. And with her is Ms. Isabella Pascua, Director and Corporate Secretary of the said corporation. From the Consumers Union of the Philippines, we have their President, Mr. Rodel Taton. Good afternoon, sir. And with them is Secretary General of the group, Attorney Vanessa Marie Oyos, and their member, Mr. Joseph Bernard Marzan. For the Digital Nomads Visa Act of our hearing this afternoon, from the Bureau of Immigration, we have Attorney Victor Andrew Siriban. From the Department of Tourism, we have Assistant Secretary Charlene Zabala Batin. And from the Bureau of Internal Revenue, we have Attorney Rose Ann Bonaobra, Attorney Rambi Agabao, Attorney Giselle Marie Galvez, and Attorney Laika Lee Tolentino. For the information of the chairman, sir, we also invited Dole, but they are not yet here, and as well as the DOJ, but the person in charge is had a prior commitment. That is all, Your Honor.
Thank you, Committee Secretary. So, but I am elated and glad that the BIR is represented by 4 lawyers. So they want to make sure that the nomads will be taxed properly. Ayan. So I'm sure yun ang mission nila dito, pinadala ni Commissioner. Make sure matax. Pero mamaya, i-discuss natin kasi di ba balance eh. gusto natin i-attract. Ayaw naman natin siyempre masyadong pigain na to the point na hindi sila ma-attract to come here. But okay, we go back to our first subject matter, the CHR Charter. So, we will recognize the chairman of the CHR, Chairman Palpalato. Yes, sir, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have an opening statement. Magandang umaga po, Mr. Chair of the Committee on Justice and Human Rights, Senator. Investigate all violations of human rights involving civil and political rights. Although the Constitution is not explicit with respect to economic, social, and cultural rights, the Commission interprets its mandates broadly to include monitoring and investigation of economic, social, and cultural rights violation, considering that human rights are interdependent and universal. Besides, our country has subsequently ratified the International Covenant on Economic and Social and Cultural Rights. This interpretation is also supported by the minimum international standards for the establishment of national human rights institutions, called the Paris Principle, that requires national human rights institutions to have broad mandate. Against this backdrop, the CHR and human rights community has been, for years, advocating for the enactment of a CHR charter that will clarify its status, structure, mandate, composition, power, and methods of operation that will strengthen the CHR in terms of protection and promotion of human rights. Internationally, the strengthening of the Commission on Human Rights as the National Human Rights Institution of the Philippines is among the recommendations during the 41st session of the UPR Working Group in November 2022. Similar recommendations were made by various treaty bodies such as the Committee Against Torture, the Committee on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, the Committee on Civil and Political Rights. The same recommendations are echoed as well by different special rapporteur. Hence, we in the CHR are glad and grateful to be invited to this hearing of the Senate Committee on Justice and Human Rights for the deliberation of the CHR Charter Bills, Senate Bill number 2487, filed by Senator Manuel M. Lapid, Senate Bill number 2440, filed by Senator Robin Hood Padilla, and Senate Bill number 2582, filed by Senator Lauren Legarda. The bills ensure the Commission, as the country's national human rights institution, a broad mandate to investigate not just for violation of civil and political rights, but also economic, social, and cultural rights violations, as well as other sectoral human rights concerns. It also provides a clear, transparent, and participative process for the selection and appointment of the members of the Commission. It ensures protection against reprisals such as filing of criminal and administrative cases that have no support in law and in evidence, and thus may hamper significant work to protect the victims of human rights violations from further harm. It is hoped likewise that the matter of fiscal autonomy of the Commission in such a way that its full fiscal autonomy is considered as an element of its independence. The Constitution and the EO Executive Order number 163 is clear that the Commission is an independent body focused on safeguarding the rights of every Filipino, regardless of age, religion, sex, gender, or social stature. It thus needs to have the power to allocate funds according to its priorities and to enable it to respond to the demands of the times. With the CHR Charter, the Commission could better fulfill its mandate as human rights watchdog as envisioned by the Constitution, and to perform its bridging role between and among the different stakeholders as mandated by international human rights principles. With that, Your Honor, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. Who else among our resource persons wants to share or give us some inputs from DBM? Ayan, itong suki natin to si Atty. Baraan. Sige po, ma'am.
Good afternoon po, Mr. Chair, Senator Padilla, and to everyone po First of all po, we recognize po the intention of the bill, and we also recognize the independence of the CHR and its creation under the Constitution po. So we'd like to manifest po 3 points on the fiscal autonomy, organization, structure, and on earmarking po. So first on the fiscal autonomy, we would like to and note that the fiscal autonomy of HR is not equivalent po to the other constitutional commissions and the SC. So, as we can see po, in the Constitution expressly provided under Article 9, Section 5, that the constitutional commissions enjoy fiscal autonomy. However po, under the provision on CHR, it only provides that the approved annual appropriations of the Commission shall be automatically and regularly released. And also, may Supreme Court decision na rin po na clarifying the autonomy of the CHR, which is only limited autonomy lang po. So, and just to manifest and to clarify po. And on the organization naman, we also recommend that the